This is Schmitty's Kettle Corn here. If you have a YouTube or a Facebook, please like and subscribe. I'm on Facebook and I've been doing my business now for 4 years. If you're a fan of Kettle Corn and have any further questions, feel free to ask below. I'll try to help everyone as you can. And feel free to contact me if you have any more questions. I have people ask me questions all the time, and I've learned for free, and I try to give out for free as well. So this year is my 5th year in business. And I will teach you pretty much some of the things I've learned the hard way, and some of those things that are like, man, why did I do that? But when going in at the time, it made sense to me, and so I'll probably go over 4 or 5 things today as to what I've learned the hard way. And the first thing that I would say that I learned the hardest way is not having a reliable vehicle to tow my equipment. I didn't realize how essential this was when I first started my business. I was making, I was doing 2 or 3 markets a week, sometimes 4, and I was doing really well in sales, and I was making some good money. But then my expenses with the vehicle and the rental vehicle were so high. I was making like $1,800 a month my first year, and I was spending $1,500 a month in the vehicle, and so I was like not making anything or even breaking even. I was losing money by spending it on a vehicle, and if I had an event, and had to spend on a vehicle, U-Haul charges $19.95 a day. I love, by the way, how they put the 1995 rather than 20 to make us think that it's not $20 a day when it is $20 a day. The next thing is that it's actually $20 a day plus 79 cents a mile, which they barely mention on the vehicle. And then on top of that, you have the insurance, and of course you're going to be buying the insurance. Why wouldn't you buy the insurance? So for a single day, sometimes I was actually remember paying like anywhere between $200 and $300 for one event. And if I made 500, that's, and then of course my supplies cost 100. That's barely anything for me to have left over to pay my other bills. And so I have the insurance, the liability, and everything else, and then my propane and then my gas. And so that was a real drag for me when I first learned that the hard way. Then after that, I ended up getting a trailer. And the next mistake on this list is that my trailer, I should have had a better vehicle to tow. My Kia Spectre was about 10 years old, and the manual said that I was able to tow 2,200 pounds. Now, with 2,200 pounds, I was like, okay, that should be enough. And it wasn't. So, on the 10th year that I've had the vehicle, and it lasted me 3 years in the business. On the 10th year I had my vehicle, my engine went out, and I think that I helped kill the engine because I was towing so heavily that it ended up ruining my car. And so, had I known beforehand, I would have just gotten a cargo van, something like that, used that would be able to carry the weight rather than deal with a trailer. But again, I didn't know. Now I have a Ford Transit, and they've been very reliable vehicles, and I love them. I can throw my kettle in and all my equipment in for one whole day in a trailer, my tent, my propane tank, everything, you name it. It's a beautiful truck, and I actually still have my trailer. I plan on selling it soon. And going forward, I just don't know how much I want to deal with either a trailer or a food truck. Maybe I might do a concession trailer and have a truck behind it that can actually, tow it, like a Ford F-150 or something like that. So that's what my thought process is now. I'm not, of course, in the stage yet of having a concession trailer. I set everything up myself in a pop-up tent. It takes me about an hour to set up and an hour to shut down the way I want it. And of course, it's the way I want it, and I try to have it set up the same way every time. I tend to, if you're serving out food, for example, presentation is really important in serving a good product. And I'm trying to learn how to be better at that. I'm not 100% perfect myself, so I'm, having a learning curve and a learning process my own self, even after doing this for 4 years. And this is going to be my 5th year in business. And each year I evolve and do something new and try to make my business and my stand more presentable. But my first year, I thought that all tents were the same, and I was like, oh, here's a tent for $50, and I was like, it just gravitated toward me, and after a month or like probably 4 or 5 markets, the screws kept coming loose, and the metal bent. The metal was really weak and cheap, and so after that, I had a few more tents go through, and before I finally realized, well, I must be doing something wrong. I probably have to look up for a commercial tent, a 10x10 tent. So after seeing that everyone else on the farmers market had these really strong tents, that was really important. Mistake number one. And then on after that, I figured out a budget, for the tent, as far as like a minimum budget to buy. Like for example, I actually got this Ozark tent in Walmart for $188, and that lasted me about 3 years, and that was a pretty good tent too. I bought a new tent just now for this season. I spent about $200. I unfortunately spent money on an Easy Up tent, and I have a receipt, and I complained to Easy Up after spending their tent at Sam's Club, and after 3 markets it broke. Their metal's very cheap, and which is sad too because I know a lot of people use Easy Up, and I was surprised at how horrible of a quality the Easy Up is at Sam's Club. I have a membership for Sam's Club and Costco. We can even talk about that too in another video here coming up, for sure. Yeah, so that's really important because when a strong wind comes by, your tent's gonna blow. I've seen tents blow down the street, several blocks. You don't want it to come running after your tent. You don't want to like have an event canceled because some events actually make you require to have a tent if you're cooking, especially food. And to have the overall cosmetics look like a tent. And oftentimes, some vendors don't have backup tents, or they don't want you using their tent. But I've actually had a tent break one time, and my awesome neighbor friend was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Here's one of my spare ones, and you can use it for the day." And that was very helpful. And then the last thing is that to have weights. I always carry weights and making sure I have enough for each booth to withstand the wind when there's really strong winds. There have been times where I foolishly made a mistake in a market where I didn't think it was going to be having strong winds that day because I checked the weather every day. That's really essential to this business if you're in the concession stand business. And unfortunately my tent really was starting to act up, so I took it down, and I didn't hurt anybody. But the manager got mad at me and said, "How come I didn't have weights?" And they were stolen. So at this point, going forward, I've now learned to always have weights no matter what, and so. I ended up buying some dumbbells from Facebook Marketplace, some used dumbbells. I got like 4 for $60. I got a pretty good deal on them, and I use the weights. And so every once in a while, I have people walk by and say, "Hey, are you gonna work out with those weights after?" You're ha ha ha. So people try to make jokes about it and stuff. But this is the video here for Schmitty's Kettle Corn. I hope you find some of this information useful. I'm gonna make another video here soon about the kind of bags that I've used over the years and the kind of quality that they are each bag. There's all sorts of different things that we could talk about. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout out or an email, or a question on the Facebook page. Feel free to message me. I always help kettle corn vendors if they have any questions. I love doing this for fun, and I'm not an expert. I don't claim to know everything. So again, I'm going to sign off. And please like and subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Facebook. This is Schmitty's Kettle Corn, and have a good week, everybody.